Hey Westchester, I'm John Rubo, owner of Yonkers Brewing Company. This is Between Two Tanks, a series about craft beer with great conversations. Today I'm here with head brewer and owner of Marlow Artisanal Ales and New York Craft Coalition, Zach Ross. Zach, thanks for joining me. Today we are drinking the Fill the Boat Westchester County collaboration, right? So a few Westchester County breweries came together, made this awesome beer. We could talk about it a little bit later. We want to talk about you first. How did you get into the brewing industry? Why beer?
Well, I walked into a craft brewery about 10, 12 years ago. Thought it was so cool that I wanted to work there. And I said, hey, I would love to have a job here. And they said, everyone would love to have a job here. And I said, I'll do it for free. And that's how I started in the craft beer. Yeah, essentially an apprenticeship. I started working in the kitchen, behind the bar, doing a little bit of tasting room stuff, working my way into the kitchen or into the brewery, washing kegs, doing the bottling line, because bottles were all the rage back then. And then just traveled around being hired by different breweries at the right time and working my way up the ladder until I became a head brewer.
Oh, what's your favorite position when you're working in the brewery?
Not owner and head brewer. You just get to hang out and brew the beer and then have a beer at the end of the day and go home and not worry about anything else but the next beer.
Right. It's much easier.
Yeah.
So tell us about Marlow. Tell us about New York Craft Coalition. How'd you come up with the name Marlow Artisanal Ales?
So Marlow is the name of my grandfather, my mom's side, and our logo is actually his signature taken from the piece of music he composed for my parents' wedding. So it's just kind of an homage to my family. I really wanted to have something that made it personal for me, to give me purpose every day, rather than just making beer or alcohol. I wanted to have a little bit deeper of a purpose behind creating a community and would just drive me further every day. And so it just made sense to be Marlow and Artisanal, just to kind of hone and focus that we're not just like phoning it in ever. We want to push the boundaries a little bit, but keep an eye on the classical styles and have an homage to the past as well as looking towards the future. So
that family connection's, so important in beer community.
Yeah.
Was your grandfather a musician?
He was a choir director and he would travel the world with his choir. My mom was actually a part of that choir and her siblings were a part of it. She got to travel Austria and Germany performing across the world, which is pretty cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like beer and music have such a tight connection. You can bring beer and music together, and we were talking about how many different breweries now are bringing bands in and doing live performances.
I think it's all about creating that community. Like, my brother's in music, he's in the music industry, and he always been so jealous that he can create this sense of place with just music, just with what you hear with your ears. I'm trying to do the same thing with what you taste through your taste buds.
Right.
So we're like competing each other, who can create the sense of community, the sense of place, the sense of like feeling, I don't even know what the word is, but just coming together over something that we all appreciate.
So now you and your brother could bring music and the
music
beer
and beer together. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
And what about New York Craft Coalition? Like, what is New York Craft Coalition? How is it different from Marlow? And why did you create, this arm of the brewery?
So started New York Craft Coalition along with Barclay Brewing Company. It's both of us under one roof. And we own the parent company ourselves. So rather than having a contract facility where it's somebody owns it and then people are paying into it and then they're brewing the beer, we wanted to have full control over what happens and create a space that was together that could grow in multiple different directions. Like, we roast our own coffee beans, so we have coffee beans available. We're running the kitchen, so we have that aspect of a brewery, and then we can grow in any direction that we choose to grow. Like, if beer is a side project because of whatever's happening in the market, like, we can shift our focus and go after something else. I will always be focused on beer, but Brian has an eye for a bunch of other things that we could possibly grow into.
That's great. And having a kitchen, it brings so much value to your brewery, being able to offer a variety of food and give people a reason to hang out a little longer.
Yeah, and then tying the food into fermentation aspects too. Like, we koji age our burger, our meat that we grind ourselves. Like, I really want to get into fermenting hot sauces that we'll put on our tacos. What else? We're doing miso, which is our fermented bean paste. Like, we're adding miso to different things to just kind of add a depth of layer to not only the beer, but also the food as well, turning it into fermentation stuff.
So beer and food, have this great marriage. So we're gonna play a quick game. So I'm gonna name a different beer style, and you tell me the first food that comes to mind. All right. So we're gonna start with I think what's most popular in Westchester and maybe the country. While lagers are growing, IPAs are still strong.
100%.
So hazy IPA. What food comes to mind?
Immediately would be a taco with hot sauce on it. Like the spice of the hops plays in well with the spicy nature of hot sauce. So, like a street taco with chicken, and then hot sauce drizzled on top, and you get a little spicy burn and cool it off with a nice hazy IPA.
Nice. Next time we do this, we'll have tacos here. I promise.
I'll bring them.
All right, so lots of different lager styles, but let's hone in on Pilsner.
What goes well with a Pilsner? I'm going to go with pierogies, to be honest.
Right.
I just had to throw... I'm from near... I grew up near Pittsburgh, and they're known for their pierogies, and my girlfriend loves pierogies as well. She's very Polish, so I feel like drinking a German Pilsner and eating some pierogies would just be like the best evening.
All right, so when I come to visit Marlow, I'm going to bring Mia Sarnia pierogies from Yonkers, Lockwood Avenue. Some of the best pierogies you'll ever have.
I'm in.
All right, I'm bringing them. How about a stout?
A stout. I'm a huge dessert guy. Beer is sweet enough for me. I get my fill there. But we have these Nutella empanadas at our tasting room. And having those, that's a guilty pleasure of mine. Having those with a stout would just send me off into the best night I could possibly have.
I love it. So you heard it right here. Nutella empanadas and a stout at Marlow. You have to try that out. All right. And I'll bring the pierogies. We'll make that for the dessert.
I'll bring the beer.
What is your favorite Westchester restaurant?
So we don't get out very often, but the one place we have gone out multiple times, which is for us is super rare, but it was that good. Augustine's in Mamaroneck. They just started carrying our beer, but it was after we had gone there a few times. It's hard for me to be blown away by food and the level of hospitality that we got at just lunch. Like they're overhearing conversation and then bringing out dishes to be like, oh, we heard you really like corn. Here's this corn flan that we just happen to have on hand, and you should try this. And I think the level of service there is unbelievable, like 5 stars without a doubt. And the food, everything I've ever had. My mouth is literally watering thinking about the Chicago beef sandwich that they had. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah, Augustine's 100% is my favorite right now.
Did you have any upcoming events the next couple months?
So Marlow's 4th anniversary is coming up. It's supposed to be in the middle of October, but due to the flood, we had to push it back. So I don't have a definitive date yet. I make one double IPA every year, released during my anniversary. We're going to have fermented hot sauce. Carla, my partner, is hand-pressing T-shirts. So we're going to have a limited amount of hand-pressed Marlow Artisanal T-shirts, and then a few other surprises.
Awesome. So make sure you head out to Marlow, check their social media for the date of their anniversary party, and head on out to Mamaroneck next to halftime, right?
Yep.
And try some of the delicious beers and food at Marlow Artisanal Ales. Zach, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
What's up, brewers? It's your boy, Zach Ross.